It's time to feel what you've been bottling up. Life in rural America isn't easy. The long hours, the constant pressures, the demands of the land, livestock, and family, it all takes a toll. We're tough and we've got grit, but somewhere along the way, toughness started meaning bottling up emotions and powering through. But here's the truth. That strategy, it's not working and it's poisoning us. Maybe you've noticed and maybe you haven't, but the numbers don't lie. We're breaking down and it's showing up in our bodies, our relationships, and in the rising suicide rates in agriculture. You don't have to carry any of it alone. There's another way. If you're ready to stop being weighed down and start moving forward, my one-on-one good movement guidance is now open. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more and see if one-on-one guidance could be for you.
I'll carry you, you carry me, we'll help each other through it. Come on and see, good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. I am going to do a little life update episode. I am home. I spent 3 weeks with my bestie, Sheila, who's been on this podcast before, at her home recovering from my bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction surgery. And I am home now, and it feels really good to be back in the hills. If you've been following along on Instagram, you have gotten some real-time updates as to what's been going on the past few weeks and how I've been feeling and all of the things. And the question came up. I shared that I was good, like really, truly good. And the question came up from a few friends and a few people that follow along on Instagram asking in my DMs, are you really good? And the answer is yes. And I wanted to take the opportunity to sort of redefine what good is, because I think a lot of times we think of being good as always feeling good or never sad or not mad or in effect unaffected by life. And that is just not what good is. When I say good, I mean truly good. I mean feeling feelings as they come, not shoving down, being happy when I'm happy. In a sense, I am done with being happy but not too happy and never sad or angry. Not in a sense, I'm just done with that. So to me, being actually truly good is feeling all the things and not never being dysregulated in my nervous system, but being able to use my parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems in the way that they were designed to be used. So when people ask if I'm good, like, yes, I truly am good. And that doesn't mean that I'm feeling good all the time. It just means I'm learning how to feel and let the emotions inform me and move through me. In fact, I'm so good that on the morning of my surgery, we all kind of convened at Sheila's house and convoyed into the hospital. And my mom was there that morning and she asked me if I was nervous or scared. And I got to tell her, no, I actually feel better mentally and emotionally than I have in probably my whole life. And on that particular morning, I was not scared. I was ready to rock the surgery. I did my welcoming prayer in the morning, and we're going to talk a little bit more about my welcoming prayer in a couple of minutes. And then I got in the shower and I played on repeat Wonder by Natalie Merchant. I drank a gross pre-surgery carbohydrate drink that tastes like thinner Caro syrup. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. I mean, I guess it was helpful in the way that I woke up from surgery. This was the first time that I've been under anesthesia that I didn't actually vomit. So I think it probably did its job, but it tasted gross. But thankfully, I got to chase it with a little bit of black coffee. But saying that I'm better mentally and emotionally than I've been in probably my whole life is kind of weird if you think about it. It's a weird thing to say going into a major surgery where you're literally having a body part, or in my case, two body parts amputated. But it was and is the truth. If it hadn't been for the things that I have been doing for my mental and emotional well being and healing, I would not have been able to say that. So, over the course of the past couple of years, I have really just dug into that inner work, I guess is what we'll say. The week before my dad died, I got some news that changed how I viewed the past 18 years of my life. And so I had to grieve that. And at that point, I had decided I am done with the shoving down of feelings. So I reached out to someone to talk to for therapy and inner work and all of that. And then my dad died. And then I really dug into that with the talk therapy sort of stuff and having someone bear witness to what I was feeling and help me feel through those things. And in doing that, we did some brain spotting. The person that I see, her name is Jada. She's great. She focuses on women's healing, but we did brain spotting in our sessions. And what brain spotting is a therapy that accesses deeply stored trauma and tension through eye positioning and body awareness. So basically, I stared at this stick with a rock on it that Jada was holding. And wherever I felt the most in my body is where she held the stick. And I looked at it and then I just processed through the pain and what I was feeling. And I will tell you that for me, the experience was a lot of ugly crying that in the moment didn't feel super great because ugly crying just makes my face feel weird and all the things. But after the sessions, I felt lighter. I felt better. I felt more equipped to process. And it uncovered a lot of things that I wasn't even aware that I was holding on to. And so I would say through my work with Jada and brain spotting that we've done, the things that have changed, I can feel my feelings in real time. I'm not as fidgety as I used to be. I can hold eye contact. And I will tell you that right before I stepped into this healing journey, I could not hold eye contact. It felt so uncomfortable and unsafe to hold eye contact with people. And I do believe that was because of all of and the fidgeting too. The eye contact trouble and the fidgeting was because of all of the emotions that I was holding inside my body. They were just trying to get out and they couldn't. And so it was a lot of fidgeting and not being able to hold eye contact. Again, since we've been working together, my eye contact is so much better. It might be creepy how long I hold eye contact with you if we ever meet up in real life. And my fidgeting is way less. And now I know when I'm fidgeting, I can use that as sort of an indicator of the fact that I might be holding on to something. And so I can get curious and explore it. And that's been really cool. So I mentioned welcoming prayer. Welcoming prayer is a practice of radical acceptance, welcoming every emotion, every thought, every feeling, every situation, every person as it comes instead of resisting or avoiding it. So this is different for me because, we are traditionally taught that we should push past the pain or distract ourselves or not be so accepting of these things. But I'll just read it to you because it has done so much for me. Also, I do not read this prayer. I bought a MP3 of Reverend Joseph Stabile reading this prayer. And so I listen to it. His voice is very calming. It makes the whole experience just different for me. And not having to read or recite the prayer, but listening to it, it helps me actually release and open. So here's the prayer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I welcome everything that comes to me in this moment because I know it is for my healing. I welcome all thoughts, feelings, emotions, persons, situations, and conditions. I let go of my desire for security. I let go of my desire for affection. I let go of my desire for control. I let go of my desire to change any situation, condition, person, or myself. I open to the love and presence of God and the healing action and grace within. So, what I do and what Joe Stabile has you do before you listen, recite the welcoming prayer is recognize what's going on in your body and in your inner world. So, what I do is I settle in and I feel my feet on the floor, my butt on the chair, or wherever I'm at. I ground myself. And then I take stock of what's going on inside. Am I feeling anxious or angry or whatever? And then I take a deep breath and I listen to Joe read me the prayer. And my favorite line is that last line. I open to the love and presence of God and the healing action and grace within. So this is a longer way, I guess, to say let go and let God. But this has just been so impactful for me because by doing this spiritual practice, I'm not going to say I do it every day, but I do it most days. And by doing this spiritual practice, it has really helped me to let go and open to what God has in store for me and his healing. And the last thing that I have sort of brought in to double down on my mental and emotional inner healing is the safe and sound protocol. So if you've listened to the last two episodes, you've met Kelly Green via this podcast. She is an amazing human and I enjoy all of our conversations. So if you've missed the last 2 weeks on the podcast, you should go back and listen to those. But Kelly actually is a practitioner of Safe and Sound Protocol, or SSP. What this is a sound-based therapy designed to regulate the nervous system and build emotional resilience. So it uses music and songs that are specially filtered to help you regulate your nervous system. So move you through sympathetic and back to parasympathetic quicker. So you listen for 5 sessions and it's an hour of music listening. And the first session is fully guided with your practitioner present. So I did this with Kelly and she was there the whole hour. And then the next sessions are a combination of her being there and some listening by yourself. And then one day all by yourself. And the reason that I chose Wonder to listen to on repeat the morning of surgery, I've listened to it almost daily since I did SSP with Kelly. Like even now, I'm still listening to almost daily, is because Wonder was one of the songs that dysregulated me when I was doing the Safe and Sound protocol. It was a song that made me cry and it moved me into and out of and back to parasympathetic in the most beautiful way. And so I still listen to that song. And the reason that I chose to do this is because our nervous system plays a huge role in how we process stress. And I wanted to create the best foundation of safety in my body that I possibly could going into surgery. So I did this 5 days in a row, and you don't have to do it 5 days in a row. If you contact Kelly and you decide to do this, I think it has to be done within 2 weeks, but you don't have to do all 5 days in a row. But I did because I wanted to get it done before surgery, and we did. And it was just such a good thing. Like highly recommend. So good. And there's different playlists too that you can choose from to listen to. I chose I don't remember what it's called, but it was, popular songs that had been filtered, but it was just so good. And so bringing this all back around, when I say I'm good, I don't mean that I feel the quote unquote good feelings all the time, that I'm never mad, that I'm never sad, that I'm never scared. No, I'm feeling it all. And that's what makes us as humans truly good. And it's not about avoiding things, it's about actually feeling things. When I'm talking about being good, meaning we actually are processing and feeling through our emotions, I don't mean like just venting them. I mean, that is somewhat helpful, but venting can also keep us kind of in our loop of frustration, whereas actually processing, helps us work through the feeling so that it can pass. So this movement, I kind of think about it like during weaning in the fall, when we go out and we exercise the cattle, we move the calves so that they can stay healthy. It kind of relates back to our emotions and how we need to move them through our bodies also to stay healthy. So when we can let our emotions flow through instead of keeping them bottled up, then we can be healthier, actually good humans. And that's a practice, right? I'm not in a place where I say I'm good and that means that I don't have any more work to do. I'm going to continue with my work with Jada. I'm going to continue to feel things as they come. I'm going to continue to pay attention to what my body is telling me and questioning, like getting curious about what's going on and paying attention to what my feelings are trying to communicate to me. And one of the ways that we can do that or like start the practice, I guess, is by asking honest questions. If you're a longtime listener, you know how big of a fan I am of the honest question. And one of those honest questions that I pose to you is, what's one emotion you've been trying to avoid? And what if instead of pushing it away, you welcomed it just for a moment? You don't have to sit with it for a long time. Like that can be kind of scary, but what if you just sat with it for a moment and then the next day, another moment and another moment. And then pretty soon you can feel it all the way through and let it go, let it move through you. Again, healing is not a one and done overnight thing. Healing isn't about fixing so much as it's about allowing ourselves to feel. You can't heal what you don't feel. And being good isn't about never struggling or feeling sad, mad, scared, all the things. It's about feeling what comes as it comes and having our nervous system be in direct correlation to what it is we're facing. That's the goal, is to have our feelings be what they are and our nervous systems do what it's designed to do. So if you would like to learn any more about the things that we've talked about in this podcast, and or you are curious about starting your own healing process and what that might look like, you can visit the link in the show notes and schedule a free 30-minute call with me and we can talk about it. Or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. Wherever you would like to connect, I'm here for it. And with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.